In July 2019, one of India's most successful entrepreneurs walked to a bridge over the Netravati River in Karnataka and never came back. He left behind a letter that admitted failure, alleged harassment by tax authorities, and described a debt so crushing it had become unbearable. His name was V.G. Siddhartha, and the company he built, Café Coffee, was supposed to be India's answer to Starbucks. Today we decode what really went wrong. This is not just a business story. It's a story about ambition, debt, pressure, and what happens when an empire is built on a foundation that was never as strong as it looked. Venkataramana Gangaya Siddhartha was born into a family of coffee planters in Chikmagalur, the very region that gave India its first coffee crop. He studied economics, worked briefly at JM Financial, and then made a bold move. He went back to his roots. In 1993, he founded Amalgamated Bean Coffee Trading Company. His vision was clear: control the entire chain, from the coffee bean on the plantation to the cup in the customer's hand. In 1996, Siddhartha opened the first Café Coffee outlet on Brigade Road in Bengaluru, at a time when Indians largely drank tea and the concept of a third place between home and office barely existed. He wasn't just selling coffee, he was selling an experience. By 2010, CCD had crossed 1,000 outlets. He understood India before most did, young, aspirational, and hungry for a slice of the Western lifestyle at an Indian price point. The tagline, "A lot can happen over coffee," became one of the most iconic lines in Indian marketing. CCD positioned itself as the place for first dates, job interviews, college hangouts, and business meetings. At 50 rupees to 80 rupees for a cappuccino, it was aspirational yet accessible. This was genius. Starbucks charges 400 rupees for the same. Siddhartha found the sweet spot in a price-sensitive market. What made CCD structurally unique was its vertical integration. Siddhartha owned the entire supply chain. His family controlled roughly 10,000 acres of coffee estates. He had his own coffee processing and export division. This meant lower input costs and better margins than any competitor could replicate easily. On paper, this was a fortress. In practice, it also meant massive capital requirements at every level of the chain. Here's where the story starts to get complicated. Siddhartha didn't stop at coffee. He diversified, aggressively. He entered real estate through Tanglin Developments. He ran a financial services arm. He held a significant stake in Mindtree, the IT company. He launched Coffee Day Express kiosks and Coffee Day hotels. Each of these required capital. And that capital? It came primarily from debt. This is the chart that tells the real story. Between 2010 and 2019, the Coffee Day Group's consolidated debt ballooned from roughly 2,000 crore rupees to nearly 9,000 crore rupees. The core cafe business was growing, but the cash flows were never strong enough to service debt across so many diversified ventures. Siddhartha was essentially using one entity's borrowings to fund another's losses, a classic debt trap. In October 2015, Coffee Day Enterprises went public. The IPO was seen as a validation of Siddhartha's empire. But look closely at the IPO prospectus, and the red flags were already there. The company disclosed high debt levels and thin operating margins. The stock never really took off. Within months of listing, it began to underperform. The market could see what many analysts were pointing to. This business had a debt problem that growth alone couldn't fix. One asset stood apart in Siddhartha's portfolio: his stake in Mindtree, the IT giant he had backed early. By 2019, this stake was worth approximately 3,200 crore rupees. This was essentially his financial cushion. But here's the twist. He was forced to sell it. The Larsen & Toubro hostile takeover of Mindtree in 2019 meant Siddhartha had to part with this crown jewel. The proceeds went toward debt repayment. But it wasn't enough. And losing Mindtree also meant losing his last major liquid asset. In his final letter, Siddhartha made a specific allegation that a former director of the income tax department had been harassing him and creating roadblocks. He claimed that 650 crore rupees of his funds were kept on hold by tax authorities. While the government denied any wrongdoing, this allegation reignited a national debate about how tax investigations are conducted and whether they can push vulnerable entrepreneurs over the edge. We may never know the full truth, but but the allegation itself became part of the story. Adding to the pressure was a deal with global private equity giant KKR. CCD had taken on structured debt from KKR, and reports suggested there were personal guarantees and pledged shares involved. When the stock price dropped, the pledged shares lost value, triggering margin calls. This is a mechanism that's destroyed many Indian promoters. You pledge your shares as collateral for loans, and when the stock falls, lenders demand more collateral or immediate repayment. It becomes a vicious cycle. CCD's story isn't isolated. The period between 2018 and 2020 saw numerous Indian promoters caught in the share-pledging trap. Subhash Chandra at Z Entertainment, the Vadhan family at DHFL, and several infrastructure groups. When stock markets are rising, pledging shares feels like smart leverage. When they fall, it can become a noose. Siddhartha's situation was the most tragic outcome of this systemic risk. On July 31, 2019, a letter attributed to Siddhartha was sent to CCD's board and employees. In it, he described himself as a failed entrepreneur. He spoke of a debt burden he could no longer manage, alleged harassment by tax authorities, and pressure from a private equity partner. He expressed deep regret that he had not been able to create the right business model. He apologized to employees, lenders, and his family. 2 days later, his body was found near the Netravati river. India was stunned. The markets reacted immediately. Coffee Day Enterprises stock went into freefall, losing nearly 70% of its value within weeks of the news. Trading was halted multiple times. Employees, lenders, and investors were left uncertain about the company's future. The board convened emergency meetings. Auditors began scrutinizing the books. What they found would reveal the full extent of the financial engineering that had been happening beneath the surface. A forensic audit commissioned by the board uncovered a transaction that became central to the scandal. Approximately 3,535 crore rupees had allegedly been diverted from CCD's subsidiaries through a series of loans to entities linked to Siddhartha personally. This money had apparently been used to repay personal debts and fund other investments. The auditors flagged this as a serious governance failure. SEBI launched investigations. The board itself admitted it had been kept in the dark. CCD's collapse is a textbook case of governance failure in a promoter-driven company. Siddhartha held enormous influence, both as founder and as the dominant personality. Independent directors often struggle to push back against powerful founders in Indian companies. The audit committee did not catch the diversion of funds in time. This is a reminder that great businesses need strong governance structures, not just visionary founders. Behind every financial collapse are real people. CCD at its peak employed over 30,000 people, directly and indirectly. The years following 2019 saw massive store closures, from 1,752 outlets to under 500 today. Thousands of baristas, managers, and support staff lost jobs. Many vendors and franchise partners faced defaults. The human cost of financial recklessness is always borne by people who had nothing to do with the decisions at the top. In one of Indian business's most remarkable comeback stories, Siddhartha's wife, Malavika Hegde, stepped up to lead the company after his death. With no prior CEO experience, she took charge of a company drowning in debt and reputational crisis. She began systematically selling non-core assets, hotels, real estate, the vending machine business, to pay down debt. Under her leadership, the company reduced its debt significantly and refocused on its core cafe business. By 2022 and 2023, CCD's debt had been reduced from 9,000 crore rupees to under 4,000 crore rupees. The number of cafés stabilized. The brand, despite everything, retained significant customer loyalty in South India and metro cities. CCD was no longer trying to be everywhere. It was trying to survive, and then grow sustainably. It's a slow, painful turnaround, but it is happening. The irony is not lost. Starbucks entered India in 2012 through a joint venture with Tata and today operates over 430 outlets. CCD, which had a 16-year head start, is at a similar number now. The positioning is different. Starbucks owns the premium end, while CCD competes in the mass premium segment. The question is, can CCD reclaim relevance in a market now crowded with Blue Tokai, third-wave coffee, and aggressive Starbucks expansion? India's cafe market is genuinely booming. It was valued at approximately 4,800 crore rupees in 2019 and is projected to exceed 18,000 crore rupees by 2028. Rising urbanization, a young demographic, and a cultural shift toward coffee consumption are all tailwinds. The market opportunity is real. CCD's problem was never the market, it was the balance sheet. This is a crucial lesson. Even great markets cannot save companies with broken finances. The first lesson from CCD's story is about debt. Siddhartha used debt intelligently early on to scale fast in a capital-intensive business. But debt became a crutch. The group's 9,000 crore rupees debt pile was simply too large for the cash flows of a cafe business to service. When you are borrowing across multiple ventures and using one entity to fund another, you are not building wealth. You are building systemic risk. CCD's diversification into real estate, financial services, and hospitality might have made strategic sense on a whiteboard, but each of these businesses required cash, and none of them generated enough cash quickly enough to justify the capital deployed. Diversification is a strength only when your core business is generating surplus cash. When it's not, diversification becomes a liability multiplier. For every investor watching this, learn the share pledging red flag. When a promoter pledges a high percentage of their shares as collateral for loans, they are essentially betting that the stock price will not fall. If it does, margin calls trigger forced selling, which pushes the price down further, which triggers more margin calls. Always check a company's promoter shareholding pattern and pledging data on BSE NSE before investing. CCD is a case study in why this matters. The 3,535 crore rupees diversion at CCD might have been caught earlier with stronger governance. Independent directors must be genuinely independent, not just names on a letterhead. Audit committees must scrutinize related party transactions. When governance fails in a promoter-driven company, there is often no circuit breaker. SEBI has since tightened disclosure norms, but investors must look beyond regulatory compliance and assess the quality of governance themselves. This lesson is less about finance and more about humanity. VG Siddhartha was a brilliant man who built something genuinely remarkable. The pressure he faced, financial, regulatory, personal, was clearly unbearable. India's corporate and regulatory culture must create environments where entrepreneurs can seek help without fear of disgrace. Mental health in high-pressure founder environments is a conversation this country needs to have more openly. Was this collapse inevitable? Not necessarily. 3 things could have changed the outcome. First, if Siddhartha had divested the Mindtree stake earlier and used the proceeds to deleverage rather than diversify. Second, if he had taken a private equity or strategic partner into the cafe business itself at the right valuation. Third, if he had communicated the financial stress to the board transparently and sought structured resolution before the crisis became unmanageable. Hindsight is easy, but the options existed. As of 2024-25, CCD continues to operate. Malavika Hegde has done something extraordinary. She has kept the brand alive under conditions that would have destroyed most companies. Debt restructuring, asset sales, and a focused return to the cafe business have given CCD a second chance. Whether it becomes a growth story again or remains a shadow of its former self depends on execution, competition, and capital access in the years ahead. Before we close, here's a practical investor checklist inspired by the CCD story. 1. Check the debt-to-EBITDA ratio. Above 5x is a serious warning. 2. Check promoter pledge percentage. Above 50% is a red flag. 3. Look for related party transactions in annual reports. 4. Assess whether the company's core business generates positive free cash flow. 5. Look at the quality and independence of board members. These 5 checks, consistently applied, will save you from many CCD-type investments. Let's recap the journey quickly. 1993, Amalgamated Bean Coffee founded. 1996, first CCD outlet, Bengaluru. 2010 to 1,000 outlet milestone. 2015, IPO on NSE. 2019, Mindtree sold to L&T. Siddhartha's death, forensic audit begins. 2020, Malavika Hegde becomes CEO. 2022, major debt reduction. 2025, CCD continues operating with a leaner, refocused model. A full arc, spanning 32 years. CCD is not alone globally. Several cafe chains have collapsed or shrunk dramatically. Gloria Jeans in Australia. Starbucks itself closed nearly 900 stores in 2008 during the financial crisis. The cafe business is notoriously tough. High real estate costs, thin margins, high staff turnover, and intense competition. The ones that survive long-term are those that maintain disciplined unit economics and resist the temptation to overexpand on debt. Whatever the financial failings, VG Siddhartha's legacy in Indian business is significant. He created India's cafe culture. He proved that an Indian brand could build a national chain in a segment dominated by global giants. He gave millions of young Indians a place to meet, dream, and build friendships. His story is a tragedy, and also a reminder that behind every corporate balance sheet, there is a human being carrying enormous weight. 5 final takeaways from the CCD story. 1. Ambition without financial discipline destroys even the greatest visions. 2. Debt is the most dangerous tool in business. It must be matched to cash flow capacity. 3. Governance is not a formality. It is a lifeline. 4. Share pledging by promoters is a structural red flag every investor must monitor. 5. Corporate India, and India's regulatory system, must build better support structures for entrepreneurs under stress. If this video gave you a new perspective on how businesses rise and fall, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Every week we break down India's most important business and finance stories in exactly this way. No jargon, just clarity. Drop a comment below. Do you think CCD can make a full comeback? Or is the golden era of India's coffee king permanently behind us? I'll see you in the next one.